I wrote a new blog. It's entitled An Artsy Take on a Fall Escape. So, yes, it's about travel, but you know me, I like to go deep. So, it's also about kind of shifting our beliefs a little bit and taking a small step, and why I believe travel is the perfect time to start shifting those beliefs, those false beliefs that you may be tightly holding on to that don't let you expand and enjoy new experiences because we're so caught up in the trap of what was. All right? This is Nina's Apollo, a place I talk about spiritual personality typing, a roadmap to your true self. What I teach here is how to let your divine inner self shine through and let your personality type be the vehicle of expression for your divine inner spark within. So it's really about believing that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So that's what I teach. That's what I love. It's what I'm learning about myself. So why wouldn't I teach it? So let's talk a little bit about the blog and why I wrote this and why I think it could be very beneficial, and for you to take this from an expansive point of view, not just from, oh, I have to go do this, because that's not what I don't want to teach you, that you have to do what I'm saying, because that would be so arrogant of me to think that. But I'm just trying to give you a shift in perspective. So the blog is an artsy take on a fall escape, right? So because this time of the year, if you pick up any travel magazine, it's going to be talking about fall, which of course that makes sense. It's germane to the season. But what we kind of do, what we, almost all of us, we step into this patterning of, oh yeah, that's what we should be doing. We should be leaf peeping, right? And so we neglect to even look at a new way. So yes, if you love leaf peeping, I'm not saying don't go see the fall foliage. That would be ridiculous. But what if I'm saying, what if you insert like a little artsy escape into that? You know, during COVID, the scientists and doctors in Brussels, did a study that said people that go to museums actually increase their dopamine output, which is, you know, mood enhancers. It alters your state of being. It elevates your mental state, so you're happier. It's a mood enhancer. So who doesn't want that, right? Especially in this day and age. So maybe going to a museum, and what I've done is I've created a little, not a chart, but it's just a little bulleted list of each of the Myers-Briggs type and a museum that might interest you. Of course, choose what suits you, but it just gives you an idea, a place to start. So if we're looking at this, and if I didn't say anything, would you even be thinking about it? Probably not. Probably not. Because you know what? But you could be a very creative person, like, oh my God, I thought of that years ago, you know, so good on you. But the whole idea here, the whole reason why I wrote this blog was to provoke maybe a different belief. Maybe you don't have to go leaf peeping, right? You know? And I know it's hurricane season, but you know, if you're an introvert, a lot of introverts might like going to the beach right now because it's not so crowded. I mean, my son just came back from Florida and he loved it because there wasn't a soul on the beach. He was like, yes, this is my time to go to the beach. So you see, I want us to start thinking, not even thinking, I want us to kind of go into that reserve of that divine spark within in us, and let it lead our ideas and our way of showing up in life, right? Because when you let that lead, it always has your best interest at heart. It's just a new belief. Well, what if? What if leaf peeping isn't the way? There's a million other ways. But I think we get so caught up in what we're conditioned to believe about ourselves, which 99.9% of the time it's false. So what I'm advocating is that you go within. You always go within. And let that illuminate your thinking or your feelings. Or, ignite your intuition so you're listening to that gut instinct. I'm not going to say you're not going to be you. You're just going to be a more beautiful, elevated you. And so this is kind of interesting. People ask me all the time, they go, well, my personality types change. I'm like, yes, it will. And why does it change? It changes because you've shifted a belief. So the belief that you had then was probably at a lower conscious level, right? It was a belief that's no longer serving you where you are now. So it doesn't enter your framework anymore. It doesn't enter your mind. You don't even think about it because you've elevated yourself beyond that. Excuse me. So you've created a world where that belief doesn't exist. And when that belief doesn't exist, you're going to be different because you're not acting from that belief anymore. So you're acting from a totally different belief system. So yes, your personality does change in that way because it just evolves. The traits do not change. The traits only get stronger, more intuitive, and more divine. They get more sacred in nature because they're totally now tapping in and supporting that divine spark within. So it supports you. So yes, in essence, your personality type has changed. It's moved from one belief system to another belief system. And when you do that, you change. I'm learning this. Look how gray my hair is. I've been indoctrinated into a society that was very much do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. Especially if you're a woman, you show up the table, and what was, fake it till you make it. Oh my God, I don't know how many times I heard that. I don't want to live in that life anymore. So my beliefs are shifting, and thank God I have, beautiful friends around me. They're like, Nina, you're spiraling back. I'm like, oh, I know, I can feel it. It feels like I'm going crazy because I am. And if you feel like you're going crazy, good. That's what my friend and I just talked about this morning. She's like, good, you're going crazy. Good for you. Because what it means is that my higher self that knows best, that knows the best path for me, whether it's a museum, whether it's leaf peeping, I don't care what it is. It's a fall beach escape, whatever it is. It knows the best path for me, right? And so when I start going crazy, is I start trying to, work from the external world. So I'm fighting myself. So yeah, I'm going a little crazy because it's frustrating. So if you're frustrated, you're probably doing the same thing. To what extent, I don't know, because only you know you, right? I can just give you my perspective, so maybe it just tickles something in you that goes, ooh, that really hit me. That really resonated. I need to pay more attention to that. I need to become the observer, which I do speak of in my book. I call it the flaneuring, which is just strolling, right? But how I explain it in my book is called Unpack Your Personality, Let Your Inner Guide Be Your Travel Guide. It's available on Amazon, so pick it up if you're so inclined. But the flaneuring, I take it beyond just the traditional definition of, a leisurely stroller. Yes, I want you to leisurely stroll, but I also want you to observe without engaging. And this is hard, especially if you're an extrovert. It's really hard. And what I mean by that is just observe everything around you. And where are your thinking, where your feeling traits taking you? Where are they taking? And just observe them. Don't act on them, And I'd advise you to have just a little journal, pocket journal with you, so you can just write some things down or write them in your phone, however you like to do that. I like writing in pen and pencil because it's your energy. It's not going through the phone. It's your energy through the pencil onto the paper. You're holding all of this stuff, right? So the energy is stronger. I just believe it's a better way to go. But you start observing yourself. And what does that tell you? What does that tell you? What are the things telling you? You know, I use this example a lot. So say you're in a busy city or wherever, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go do this. I'm gonna try this flaneuring without interacting. And so you're just cruising, you're walking, people walking by, you're smiling. You know, it's not like you're being rude. You're doing your thing, and this flower shop just stops you. I mean, it literally just stops you. It could be a flower shop. It could be a bakery. It could be just like a little food cart. It could be something. It could be a flower. It could be a tree growing in the middle of concrete. It's something just stops you. Well, my advice to you is you write what's stopping you down, because your inner guide, your soul within, is pointing you in that direction. It's trying to get your attention to look at something. What that will reveal for you, I don't know. I don't know, because I know what it would reveal for me if I thought about it and went and meditated on it and just observed and let the feelings come up, let the messages come up. And sometimes you're in a situation where, you know, that's not going to happen. That's why I say write it down so you can do it at a later time. So can you see why I love travel as a way to start shifting perspectives? Because travel's a pretty open-minded, fun way to look at yourself without getting all like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, and you get all worried, and it's all of that is very well founded. We all do it. But I think when you do it with travel and you take this one little step and you do shift your belief, you see what it brings you. And so when you do that with bigger things in your life, you already know, well, I already know I've walked this path with little things. I can't imagine what it'll do with the bigger things. And you're already going to know it's going to open you up to a better place in your life. Does that make sense? So when you start with little steps and you see the results, you'll see the power of your inner guide and what it brings to you on a very small scale. It's easier for you to now picture what this can do for you on a larger scale. Does that make sense? If you have a question, drop it into the comment below, okay? But that's all I'm going to talk about. That's all I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about something that I think is exciting. I think it's a fun way to look at fall too. If you are traveling this fall, do something artsy. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, my goodness gracious, doing something artsy is so good for you. First of all, take the time, get away from your business, which I'm getting ready to do. I just don't want to, I want to, you know, I might go to a museum here. I think I might go to the, I don't know which one I'm going to go to. I might go to the Mardi Gras museum here. Anyway, enough said about that. But extroverting, right? Like just talking shit out loud. But, you know, if you do something artsy in your business, it just brings you different perspectives, different ideas on culture, different ideas on creativity, or like how to do, oh, I can do that. I can shift that, because your inner self now is guiding you. How does it want to intake that information and then regurgitate it out in more meaningful ways, your ways, right? So you get fresh perspectives, you get new ideas for strategies and creative things and abilities. And plus, like I said, it's a dopamine hit. So it helps you refresh a little bit and relax and get away from the stress of all this, you know, social media, content creation, whatever, funnel, sales, blah, 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 on and on. Take a break. And go do something artsy. It's really, really important for your business. So, enough said. One more thing, because, you know, I'm going to say one more thing. But it's also just as important for your family and for your relationships, with all the same concepts behind it. You get out of yourself and you're in a new place. You discover new things about yourself. hopefully these new things will become cherished beliefs that elevate you, and you leave what doesn't work behind. All right. I hope you enjoy the blog. I'll put all the details in the description box below. If you like this video, please follow along. If you want a reading, I do travel personality type readings, which they're kind of deep. It's more than, ooh, you're going to travel here, here, and here, which it is. But I also talk to you about yourself, how you show up in the world, and so it's interesting. It's a deep dive almost into new perspectives about yourself. So I do one-on-one consultations for those too. So if you're interested in that, and of course the book's available too. All the stuff will be in the description box below. I really appreciate you all. I appreciate all my new subscribers. Thank you so much. I mean, Nina's a little engine that could, little by little, but you know what? To me, I'm telling you, this is, if I reach one person, I'm so freaking happy. Because, like I always say, when I reach you, you can show up as yourself and reach somebody else and give them your gifts. And then they give somebody else their gifts. And it's just the circle of life. And look how beautiful that is. We build this beautiful collective, tapestry of all these wonderful people being true to themselves. And isn't that a world we all want to live in? I know I do. Do you? All for now, Nina.